to treat athletes at every different level, through the youth sports right to the professional level. And the bottom line is, all great athletes have one thing: great balance. So as coaches, I think from an activation standpoint, it's important for you to introduce balance and posture and balance into your training protocols. And it's sorely forgotten through the youth stages, and especially through the stages where kids are developing. The upper body's not quite developing with the lower half. Hamstrings are tight. Ask them to hold certain postures for periods of time. They can't do it. They're flopping all over the place, but we ignore it. But great athletes have terrific balance. They have the ability to change direction, the ability from acceleration to deceleration and move again. Just watch, you'll see it. How can players get space? How do they get that ability to get distance, create space? It's the ability to change direction. It's the ability to remain poised, remain controlled, and have dynamic stability. So we look at developing stability before mobility. And unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that we do is more mobility before stability. So you're working on these gross movements as opposed to working on intrinsic function and intrinsic movement. So it would behoove you as a group just to simply ask certainly your youth players, just to simply balance. In a simple function, how many players can do it? I guarantee you, they'll be here. They'll be all over the place. That's as simple as that may seem, but that's how we would start this with the youth players, with the youth of today, getting up to the level that we're at here. Even at this level, at the NBA level, players still have trouble with certain things, and this is completely aggravated by injuries. It's exacerbated by underlying problems that they may have. So, well, they continue through the warm-up here. Any questions? Perfect. How much? Yep, good.
4 times, third back, go.
You'll see John is, through this whole process here, he's slowly ramped the workout up from a simple stretch to some activation, and he's increasing the level of intensity as he would do. So when he's finished, effectively, he's ready to hand them over to the coaches, and they're ready to go. So, any questions, feel free. Thank you.
Does anyone have a question for Alex McEchnie? Okay, we're going to have microphones come over your way. We'll begin right back here, and then after you ask that question, if we could filter that microphone about 2 rows in front of you. It's great.
Just wondering what program, if any, you have for post-game in terms of stretching.
I mean, something that's written out there? Is that what you mean?
No, like with our kids, you know, we focus a lot on the pregame warm-up and stretching and stuff like that, but often after the game, there's nothing. I'm wondering if there's
did you say post-game?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Again, you know, often they'll do a team stretch after like a heavy practice. I think, unfortunately, in our world, we're usually on a plane within an hour after a game and on to the next city. So, but yes, it's a very, I think it's an approach that one should take, and if you do have time to do it, a post-game stretch is always a good thing to do. A post-game, just a slow, you know, how do you call it? It's not a warm down, but an unwinding of the process is always good to do. So by all means, stretching is fine. Some players do that religiously. Be quite honest with you, I spent a lot of years in LA, and a guy by the name of Kobe Bryant didn't spend a a day without a post-practice or a post-game stretch. Derek Fisher's the same. So the answer to your question is it's a very serious part of it. We have a group of athletes here that are very serious about their business, and some of them do, some don't, and some have preferences that are different. But I would say it's a reasonable thing to do.
You know, we're actually, Victor, you want to move on to the next topic? So we're actually just based on time. I apologize. We're going to have to move to the next. Alex McEchnie, thank you so much for your time.